and we know this is what we're meant to do. So we wake up, put our feet on the floor, go and conquer the day like a warrior, like warriors. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right. No need to panic anymore. We got lots of support and an army of warriors by our side. We fight the good fight when we unite. We fight the good fight when we unite. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business.
Welcome everyone to the Coffee Chat Show with Explore ProTech. I am Sondra Ray. I am your host for the day, and I am surrounded by these amazing gentlemen from all over the world. We are global, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Today is a very special topic because this is literally what Explore ProTech is about. Relationships, collaborations, networking, family, if I want to say, because that to me, I feel like everybody's family. But the importance of it in your business is huge, huge, huge. And of course, so who else would we have as the amazing expert for today? Would be the amazing Tribe King, Dad, whatever other acronym we can put along his name, but Mr. Peter Hingston. How are you today?
Oh, Sondra, thank you. I'm actually doing really well. Suffering a little bit. I'm feeling yesterday's hike a lot. I don't hike too often. But yeah, otherwise doing really well. Thank you.
All right, so like I said, this is literally the foundation of Explore ProTech, this topic. I feel, or maybe you don't, but I'm pretty sure you do because that's what we always talk about. But how do we use it, or how do we leverage it to grow and be successful and, do all the things as business owners? Because that's the perspective, of course, we're coming from. So take it away.
Okay, so I think let me just set the scene and debunk a few myths before we actually get into the conversation itself. Myth number one: a large network is a successful network. Not true. I think we need to understand that spaces, unless purpose-driven, are kind of pointless. If there's no purpose to a space other than maybe marketing, then all you are is generally a number. So does that mean that larger networks are unsuccessful? No. There is a very fine line. And I think if spaces, no matter the size, if they are built for a purpose, then you can figure out whether or not that purpose aligns to your business, to your values, to how you want to function. And I think in every industry, you're going to get spaces that are highly purpose-driven, and then you're going to get spaces that are almost imitation of that, and they just don't get it right. So nine times out of 10, invited to a large networking space, and generally you are there to be the audience. You're there to be marketed to. You're there to be the numbers equals the profit. The more people there are in the network, the more profitable the network is. That is beneficial to who? One person, the networking group owner. The more numbers they have, the more profit they make. I think that's counterintuitive to what networking should actually be. Should a network make a lot of money? Oh, yes, but it needs to be purpose-driven. So If you find yourself in a network where you're a number and generally you're being marketed to instead of actually being part of a network, then you're in the wrong space. You're 100% in the wrong space. That being said, can you achieve a lot more with a smaller group? Yes. Yes, you can. And I think as business owners, is it essential for us to find the spaces that we fit in that are purpose-driven? Yes. It's almost like networking to be seen as a tool, that if it's not used correctly, it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. And in order to understand what the tool is and what it's supposed to do, there are a few questions that need to be answered. And I think I've asked pretty much everybody in the space the same questions. Can you learn here? Can you teach here? Can somebody be your solution here? Can you be somebody else's solution here? Can you build real relationships here? Can you be supported here? Can you be somebody else's support? If those questions are no, because I generally don't speak to anyone, I just arrive and then I get to listen to a speaker and then I perhaps have to buy a book or buy a course then you are the audience. Now you don't want to join a purpose-driven space to be the audience, because then the purpose of the space is to sell you something. That's called marketing. And I think there's a lot of spaces out there that are maybe call themselves networks, but it's just marketing. You are the audience. Now, if you are a purpose-driven entrepreneur, a purpose-driven business professional, stepping into a space where you are the audience does not make much sense at all. Am I stepping on a few toes? Yes. Consider your toes stepped on. I do not mind stepping on toes. Does that mean that all larger networks are like that? No. I've actually come across some incredible networks of major size where they are so purpose-driven and the ability for them to build relationships is just increased because there's more people. But it's rare. It's actually quite rare. Even in smaller networking groups, they're trying to avoid that whole marketing space. They create a smaller group, yet they miss the point of the relationship building in the first place. So it's not as strategic as it should be. So there's downfalls in either space. So as entrepreneurs and business professionals that are purpose-driven, and I think Mr. Levy will enjoy this because it's very specific, for a specific purpose. We have to figure out, why are we joining a network in the first place? Do we need to join a network in the first place? What relationships are we building with the people around us? What purpose do those relationships, what's the purpose behind them? Do we need them? Are they necessary? Are they necessary to us? Are we necessary to them? If you're answering negatively, stop it. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting everybody else's time. I think before stepping into spaces, you need to answer these questions so that you can actually understand, am I in the right place? For me, stepping into a space where everybody just gets an opportunity to market. What are you doing? I just don't get it. Everybody else needs to keep quiet so one person can deliver a pitch of why you should buy their product, but then nobody cares about yours, but everybody cares about delivering their own. It makes zero sense to me. I do not want to be involved in spaces like that. I want to be involved in spaces where I can meet people, figure out who they are, what they do, what their secret sauce is, how they function, what tools do they have in their toolbox, what experience do they have, and then based on what it is that I'm building, do I need that relationship? Do I need access to what they have? And not in the form of they have a product and I need to buy it. In the form of there is a relationship that I can build. And that's a relationship I can rely on. And as much as I can rely on that relationship, they can rely on mine. Never a one-sided street. If it's a one-sided street, leave. You're using people. Don't do that. You step into a space and use as many people as you possibly can. You'll get figured out real quick, and people will just stop engaging with you. It's quite simple. So we need to be finding spaces, spaces that we fit, spaces that are strategically driven. I will use this group as an example. Do we have a membership fee? Yes, we do. Do I rely on that membership fee for income? No, I do not. Where does my money come from? Well, my money comes from the quality of people in the space and how we can build projects utilizing their skills, not mine, theirs. And I think strategically, without those relationships, my space does not work. So my entire business model is about the people. It's about who they are, what they bring to the table. How can we as a community show that off? See, and I think the whole dynamic of the space is now completely different compared to let's just get together and market our content to each other. Nobody likes to have content consistently thrown at them. But if you can answer those questions, then you actually position yourself to be capable of doing so much more than what you're capable of, because you're not just relying on yourself. And I think that's what, there's this whole movement of like new generations, and everybody looks at them like, oh, now there's a new generation. They're very lazy. The question is, are they, or are they just smart? And I think there's a great combination between the two. If I look at the Ignite program, did I teach on the Ignite program? No. Did I need to teach on the Ignite program? No. Did the coaches deliver quality on the Ignite program? Hell yes. Did the students benefit from that? Most definitely. What was my role? Well, my role was to do what I do best, which is develop a space and a culture where people can come together and network and get the best of the best of the best of each other. And it was fantastic. So you can do so much more than what you're capable of if you just understand the tool of networking and how it works, because it doesn't boil down to just you. I think that's just the way it is, and it's very difficult. It's a very difficult thing to wrap your head around sometimes. Everything relies on me. I've got to get it done. But do you really? No, not really. I think it's almost like there are thousands of coaches out there that market themselves as like the best coaches, but not as connected as they should be. So they can tell you maybe how to do something, but they cannot facilitate you meeting the right people to actually do it. And I think that to me is like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? But then you come across a coach that goes, well, you need to do X, Y, and Z. And I can guide you in that process, but then you need to speak to this person because this person specializes in that. Or you need to do this because that's the person and they're connected. And it's almost like they create this roadmap, and they're connected enough to be able to do that. They have the physical tools, not just the mental tools to say, hey, do it like this, but I'm not going to give you anything to help you do it. So I think being connected and networking and building relationships is probably one of the biggest things that you can actually get right and do it properly. I think that's me for now. I think that gives us enough ammunition to actually set the tone for this meeting.
I love it, and I couldn't agree 1,000% more. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses. Play to your strengths. Figure out who can help you with your weaknesses. If you don't think you have weaknesses, go look in the mirror. Sorry, not sorry. That is one of the things I definitely pride myself on, is that I built resources around me to help my customers, clients, and myself, and my children, and. But that is one of the things that when I go into coffee chat, it's like, who can they help? How can they help? It's not, what can they sell me? It's like, who can you help? What can you help? And it definitely helps the perspective, even having coffee chats or going to network events, like, oh, that person can help this person can help this person, versus, like you said, going in there going, I sell blah, 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 blah. If anybody ever notices, I am terrible at pitching myself. I could pitch the heck out of everybody else. But that is one of the things, that is one of my weaknesses. I will pitch everybody but myself. It's a work in progress. And in 5 years, it's still a work in progress. And it probably will be for another 5. Because it really is about me connecting and making sure people reach their goals. It's really not about if I'm the exact person you need. It's really about how can I help you? And that's my passion. And that's the reason 5 years later, I'm still doing it. Everybody's like, why? You know, you half the time you sell somebody else's services, not your own. Is it the greatest business model? I will not. No, honestly, it's not. But it's my passion. It's my fuel. It's my choice to do it that way. And I do get a lot of pushback from a lot of people saying, why? Why would you do it that way? And I'm like, well, yeah, I be me, you be you. We all need those in the world. So, Mr. Levy, come on in because I could talk about that. Unlike Peter, I can talk passionately about this topic. And I know you are too. So come on in.
First of all, I loved what you said there. I'll be me and you be you. I think I just had a laugh when Pete says made some notes, and when Peter said, yeah, he said, Mr. Levy, you'll love this one. And as he was talking, I had already started writing. I understand why I want to join the network. So, and we didn't speak about this before. So it was, so there was a connection. But yeah, I think that's so important. There were two things I just want to mention that I think are extremely powerful. The network is, having a networking platform in itself is like a business. If it has no purpose, then you'll go nowhere. So, but before you need to understand the network's purpose, you need to understand your purpose. What is your purpose for joining the network? You know, and there are networks, I won't join them, but there are networks there that go into hard selling. If that's your purpose, that's your network. So I've yet to come across, maybe because I don't join them, I cannot relate to that. In fact, I need to share just a quick story. I was invited 2 weeks ago to join a network. And so I was included on the network group. And it's a new network that's starting. And it hasn't got off the ground. The first meeting was going to be in person. The first meeting was in October. The second one, due to lack of interest, was in 6th of November. And now has been put off to next year due to lack of interest. The interesting thing is, but now I'm going to remove myself from there, because when they said we're having the meeting and added everybody to the group, the first thing that came up with 30 or however many people were on the group were 30 flyers and people promoting their business. And I thought, yeah, you might have the greatest business, you might have the greatest product, but I don't know you. So why are we spending so much time from putting up flyers and promoting the business? And the poor person who stopped the network, I really felt sorry for them. And then when they said that there's a lack of interest, then I had to comment. I commented on the group. I said, I'm so surprised that there's a lack of interest to attend when there's so much interest to sell their business and the product on the group. The two don't match. And then the message was very clear to me that people are only here to sell their business. And you know what? Nothing's happened. And I doubt whether the network's actually even going to start. So I think that just affirms what you said, Pete, is it certainly is about, and not just networking, it's business is about relationships. It's about building those relationships first. And if you're not going to take the time to build a relationship, you might get a business. It's not going to be long-term. It'll be in and out. It won't be sustainable. And so it's about making that time in the beginning to create longevity in your business and through relationships. And yeah, I agree, big is not always better. And find a space, and just find that space where you belong. And how are you going to collaborate? You know, is collaborate through getting business, is through referring people. Sondra, you said that, you know, you have a whole network of people that you can refer. If you're referring the right people to your clients, that will in itself builds credibility for your business. So I think it's so important, and I think people have the wrong or the misconception about networking. And it's another network group, but maybe explore it and see if it's the right group for you. And then you will either, as you say, fit in. I prefer using, if you feel you belong there and you feel it, then it's the right network group for you. And a great, I'm just going to end, but I know Lesetja wants to talk, and there are people that want to talk, but I will come back to the sales coach, that dear friend that I met many years ago. And always, you've heard me say this before, but I love the saying. He said, nobody wants to be sold to, but everybody loves to buy. I think it's so true. So yeah, networking groups are fantastic, just for visibility, credibility, and you can grow your business from them if you work it correctly.
I love that, Mr. Levy. And I was putting in a live chat that yes, you can build relationships with intent to grow your business. Just be honest about it. Say, hey, my intent is I need help with X, Y, and A, B, and C. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Be upfront with your intent, build the relationship, and say, hey, I see me helping you do this and you helping you do this. We're not saying that you can't build a relationship on business growth. We are saying that is part of it, and we want you to build, so I just kind of want to debunk that, because I know some people are like, well, so you just want to build a relationship. What does that do for your business? And that's a true statement. A lot of people don't see the reason behind that. Mr. Lesetja, come on in, sir.
Thank you, Sondra. I think I just want to maybe start with the history, how I came to join Explore ProTech and why I'm still here. And it's because I've been through quite a number of network groups, probably 10 before joining Explore ProTech and even after. And I'm staying with this one because of, one, the relationship that we have with each other. Secondly, because we help each other. It's not about we having fun together, but we actually build each other up. We help each other. That's the second thing. And the third thing is there's a lot of fun in here. There's a whole lot of fun that we get when we engage as members. And I think besides the help that you get, besides the push that you'll get from Sondra, besides the encouragement that you'll get from Mr. Levy, you just become yourself. There's no selling, there's no buying, there's no advertising. It's just, let's get together and help each other out. That's mainly what it is. And that is why I have stayed with this one. I'll not go anywhere else. The others I found, it's more about, it could be about the founder of the network, or it's about what they can get out of the network. So some will say, you are in this network, you sell, and as soon as you sell something to a member of the network, then you need to pay a percentage to the network itself, which obviously goes to the founder. So I'm not here for the business of selling. Yes, I can sell. There's a lot that I can sell to the members, but we are not here for that. We are here to connect. We are here to build each other up. We are here to engage and grow our mindset. There's nothing that I enjoy than growing my capacity. Whether it's mental, whether it's social, whether it's business, but I just enjoy growing my capacity as a person. So Peter, you are right. it doesn't mean when you've got the biggest network, you have a successful network group. Yes, they say size does matter, but sometimes quality matters more than size, you know. So that's just me in a nutshell. So, and I'm using this practical example because I don't want people to think we are just thumb-sucking these things. It's practically what is happening to us and with us. You know, when you join a network group, there is nowhere where you engage with the founder first before you even join the group. This is the only place where I found you engage with the founders first. They check out, your aim, your ideals and all that, and thereafter they either accept or reject. Now, other network groups will not reject you because they just need numbers. So for me, quality of a network group, what we can do for each other, and our tag word as well, or tag line as well, coffee before business, that is ideal for me. Thank you. And this is Lesetja from Litmok, your business development agents.
I love that. I love that, Lesetja. So many amazing points. And I love that you talked about your journey here and why you stayed, because that was one of the things I put in the chat on the YouTube is that find out what the group is about and test it. And I think that was definitely one of my biggest pluses was dating the tribe. I'd never heard that version and and there's like date the tribe and I had to adjust my dating period, yada, 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 yada. And they were flexible. It wasn't like, oh, you got 5 days and you have to get out. A lot of companies are like that. Your 5 days are your 5 days. We don't care. And I was like, hey, can I have a little bit longer time? And they're like, yeah, sure. And of course, with a time limit and boundaries around it. But at the same time, it wasn't that hard. You sign up for the 5-day trial and day 5, click, you're done type things in any way, shape, or form. So I was super grateful. And it was definitely one of the reasons that I joined the tribe. Hendrick raised his hand super early, and I'm super excited to hear what he has to say. Good evening.
Evening, everyone. Funny enough, today I'm going to be, I think I have a different viewpoint than my mentors, which is going to be fun because I'd like to hear their response with regards to this. First thing, what I agree with is when they say you must find the quality in the marketing or the people that you align yourself with, I think that is the main objective or the main point of any marketing event. I think, for example, Mr. Peter said something about not always does the size matter because sometimes large numbers don't give you the true reflection. However, my view, or especially as I was listening to everyone present their case today or their exposure to the topic, my view is sometimes it's very advantageous to be in a large group because you get to deal with people from different diversities, and then that helps your company grow. It helps you grow as an individual. You get to know how to treat different people because unfortunately, it's not always going to be smooth in the in the business world. So you're going to come across people who are there to test you. So the more you deal with scores of people, the more you learn how to treat different people. So also, I remember Peter said something like, normally people say Gen Z or the younger generation is very lazy. Okay, not him, but he was just giving an example. What I've come to learn recently is lazy people are very creative. more often than not, people who are very creative are lazy people because they'll find the easiest way to get something done. They'll find the easiest way or the simplest way because they don't want to put more effort into it. So the more they try to find those shortcuts or ways, other ways of doing something, they end up being creative. It's just important that as business owners or as people, we need to know how to identify these moments and channel them. And then I think it was Mr. Levy who said something that everyone wants to sell, but not everyone wants to be sold to. I think the biggest challenge is, I'm not sure if this is even a word, most of us do blind marketing. So by blind marketing, I mean, we get into a space where they say, okay, here are people from different fields of or different walks of life. And then we just decide that, okay, this is a great opportunity for me to announce myself that I am Hendrick and this is what I do. Hopefully someone will align with what I do. Hopefully someone will call me to a side and say, I want your services. So I think the reason also for the event that he was talking about that it failed was that everyone was just rushing to sell instead of trying to hear what the others can offer. So the last question or the last note was when Mr. Lesetja was speaking. I think to him also the question would be, is a marketing event or a session where people from different walks of life come together to share ideas, is it treated as a business for others? Because if you come, for example, he mentioned that the reason he's in Explore ProTech is because we help each other. We are a group, and as a group, we understand the principle of coffee first, business later. We do not come into this event and start advertising our business. However, is it when someone says, I've got an event coming and then starts inviting people, is that person not saying to them that, okay, I'm bringing a group of people together, come and advertise your business, and I'm hoping that I'm going to get something from it. Is it that not as some sort of a business model for them? I hope I didn't say much. So that's Hendrick from Teresano Earth Movers, your lifting and rigging specialist from Mpumalanga.
You said a lot, and I'm like, okay, let me pick one and let everybody else have a turn too. One, thank you for sharing a different perspective. That is what the show is about, and this is why we do a panel discussion. It is not about me or Peter being the expert. It is about us as a group talking about business, because there's different perspectives, and there should be different perspectives. Of course, even in the tribe. So definitely for that. My quick comment would be that do your research. What is the intent of the group, and what is your intention going on? And yes, by all means, go to a group that sells if that's what you need. I think there's a need part of that. Review what communities you're in and how they've changed or not changed. We all know that's a big word for me, but I do have a spot in my workbooks. Review your communities. There's a reason for that. Because I have fallen out of alignment with some communities, and had to go look different places for different things, because their values changed and didn't align with mine. So definitely knowing what the community is about, and the best way to know what a community is about is usually either talking to somebody who's already in it, or doing a test run if they let you. So those are all valid points. Come on in, Peter. I don't want to. I'm sure you have lots to answer here.
Yeah, no, I think it's brilliant, and I think it's great that Hendrick has a different viewpoint because he's supposed to have a different viewpoint. We're not sheep. It's not like there's a shepherd and everybody just follows the shepherd. That would make me a guru or a sheep herder, which I'm not. And I think the key to figuring out what space is right for you depends on what you need. And if you, what people need to understand is that building relationships in a particular space has a particular purpose. You want people to know who you are. You want to be able to know who they are, because then by word of mouth, they are referring you to other people because so for all intents and purposes, you are still selling. You're just using a different method. If you go into a marketing space and you just go, bam, here's my post, you're doing exactly the same thing. You're just doing it a different way. So for all intents and purposes, before you join a space, you need to do your homework. What is my method? What do I need? If, say, for instance, somebody's method was, I'm just going to jump into Explore ProTech and I'm just going to blast them with my, with all of my content and push to sell my product, you're not in the right space. My space will not work for you. It's not meant for you. It's not designed for you. It won't facilitate you. It'll probably rub most of the members up the wrong way, be like, who's this person coming in and just throwing marketing at us? Like, we want to know who that person, we want to build a real relationship with that person, because that's not how we function. However, there are spaces that function like that, and they may be purpose driven to that particular point, which might be a space that you would fit into really well. So am I saying that one is right and one is wrong? No. I'm saying that each of them has a different purpose, but they lead to the same goal. It depends on who you are as a person. How do you want to achieve what you need to achieve? So can you achieve the same goal going in two different directions? The answer is yes. So is Hendrick wrong and everybody else right? Or is everybody else right and Hendrick wrong? The answer is no. It's up to each individual to figure out for themselves strategically, do I need to build relationships? What relationships do I need to build? In what process am I going to use to market myself? How am I going to create visibility? Am I going to create visibility by just by just putting it out there in content? Or am I going to build relationships so that other people can speak my name? It's the same end goal. It's just strategically, which process are you using? What's going to work for you? So is there a right answer and a wrong answer? No. Can I sit here and say, Explore ProTech is doing things so differently, everybody else is wrong, and Explore ProTech is doing it the right way? I can't sit here and say that at all. I don't have the right to say that. I don't even have the authority to say that, because it would be wrong. What I am doing is I'm building a space that might be specific to certain people. So the onus is actually on the individual to come into a space and go, is the way that things are done in this space beneficial to my business? And am I beneficial to the space? If the answer is no, do not join. Whether it's my space, whether it's another space, you might find that it doesn't work for you in this space, but a different space, it really does. It's up to the individual to find that space. So I don't think there's a right and a wrong answer, because we all function in different ways. It's the same as the Ignite program. Multiple different students creating multiple different businesses for themselves, and each person is customizing it to their own particular journey. So it's about the individual and what the individual needs, and then about finding the space that facilitates that. And I think some people network in both spaces. Some people will network strategically in a space for relationships and really build relationships, and then they'll network in another space because they don't have to build relationships and they can just throw their content out there, mass groups of people who are going to see their content. Is one right and one wrong? No, they're both just different strategies at achieving the same thing. So, like I said, it's up to the individual. Peace out.
Yeah, very true. And I say that about accountability too, which is why I tell you to review accountability just like you review communities. I've used one-on-one accountability, I've used paid, I've used free, I've used group, I've used in-person. In my 14-year health journey, I've used all of them, except for maybe actual one-on-one personal trainer. I've had health coaches, but not actual personal trainer title. And I've needed all of them at different parts of my journey. For sure. And I think that's the same thing with your business. You're going to need different types throughout your journey. The students needed this right now, but in 3 months, they might need something else. That doesn't mean they can't keep Explore ProTech or other communities, but you might have to add or adjust or do get rid of one, of course. So I'm definitely on that. And especially when you're doing paid communities, if you're in paid communities, please review them. They change, you change, your goals change, your business model might change. So stop paying the $20 a month, the $30 a month, the $100 a month for something that does not serve you anymore. And that's business that does not serve your business anymore. And like Peter said, you can have a relationship one, you can have a speaker one, you can have a sales one, like you can have all these different. If you have time to be in all those groups, I have to put that caveat in there. If you can't use the groups, then why? If you're not using the groups to the best of your availability, then yeah, then don't be paying for all that. I do the same thing with systems. I get cringy when people pay for 20 systems and they use 2. Like, why? Just because somebody told you does not mean you need to. And yeah, definitely. There's always a time and place, I think, for any type of community. And it's on you to figure it out by doing your homework, reviewing, and so on and so forth. Mikey, good evening, sir.
Evening, everyone. Yeah, no, very interesting topic, very in-depth, and it generates very unique perspectives from everyone. I just wanted to add and elaborate a little bit on the simple side that the big benefit of and the importance of having a network that's ideally aligned to your business and your needs and the like. Alignment is important. Is ultimately because members of the network can be frank and honest with you. Unlike in your world or environment that you operate in, there's a risk that people may like if you have a decision or your perspective, others around you in your business may just agree with you for the sake of lack of or for fear not to create a confrontation or some discourse or upset the apple cart, so to speak. And lots of the time, if you have an area that needs to be addressed and your own solution may not be ideal in your real world, others may just go with what you're saying and they may not actually advise you correctly. Whereas now, if you present that issue in the network, you get much more of an honest feedback, a much more direct feedback. And it's because those in the network ultimately are not directly involved in your business. They're not having a direct interest, so to speak. So they can be honest with you and be frank with you. And that's a key benefit of having a network in your line of work or business. And that's very important because I know it sounds small and trivial and taken for granted, but I've experienced many situations where people just agree or they just want to agree and move on with the first idea or an obvious idea without actually putting the effort to give an objective perspective. Also fear for repercussions. And hence you can present that at a network and that can be of benefit to you. And just before going, I like Sondra that you touched on networks themselves can also change over time, their views, their perspectives, the members. And it is important to review your position and your business, and remember your business grows and your business changes. And so what in the business at the stage that you started off, the network you were on may have been appropriate and ideal. But as your business has grown, that your business may be in a position that the current network or the traditional network you are in may no longer be of benefit to yourself or your business or them as well, including them. And you may need to cut ties then. And it's something for you to think about and evaluate regularly. And like you say, we all are people of habit, and it is so easy for us to fall into the trap of, I'm used to this one this one service or one network or what, and just stick with it. But you got to review and you got to have the courage to let go sometimes when you need to, even though you may not want to, but sometimes the need to let go is greater than your want to let go, and that's priority. Yeah. All right, guys, my 2 cents worth.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, 1,000%, Mikey. One of the he's like in the top 3 inspirational speakers around Dr. Eric Thomas, and it's build your own table. You have a choice to build the table of the people that are around you. It doesn't necessarily you have to fit into the network. It is about who you bring to your table and your business. So I think that's extremely important. And I challenge people this week too, and I put it in the live review. What are you paying for? What is free? What communities are you in? Are they going to help you in the year strong? And then the second part of that is what communities do you need for 2025? Because now is the time to think about 2025 and what do I need? What circles do I need to be in? And I am doing that. And I joined one that I was like, I don't know if this is where it's a big leap of a community that I was not 100% sure if I belong to, but it's going to stretch me, and that's what I need to go to the next level. So I joined it, and there it's a higher end, and but I wanted to open those doors, and so I got my foot in the door, and I'm in, and now we get to see where that community goes. Not only to benefit me, but for me, of course, to benefit them. Come on in, Mr. Lesetja.
All right, thanks, Sondra. The one lovely thing about Explore ProTech is we all have got different views, and we allow all those different views to come in. And to Hendrick's point, we are here, we are not the same people, we are not in the same business, we don't do business the same way, we are all different. And that is why Hendrick can raise his head and say, I want to challenge whatever the topic is, or his coaches and all that. I love that. And that is the ideal space wherein somebody should belong, where you are able and allowed to voice your opinion without fear of being judged. Because I think if you thought we are going to judge you, or Peter as the founder is going to judge you, or Mr. Levy as your mentor, business coach, trainer, lecturer, whatever it was, is going to judge you, you wouldn't have raised your hand. But you are free to do it. And these are the spaces where you need to belong to, not just Explore ProTech, not just coffee first, business later kind of setups, even your direct selling business networks. As long as you are comfortable to raise your opinion, as long as you will be heard, as long as you've got an opportunity to sell, that's where you need to belong. You know, I do all of these. I go to expos because I do direct selling at expos. I network with people there, and it's like I go there, and this is where that's what I'm selling, direct. But when I come to this other network group, it's let's engage, let's build each other up, let's listen to each other, let's learn from each other, which is very important for me. Thanks, Hendrick. Thank you for raising those points.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I was thinking of that. I'm in a co-working community, but on Mondays I lead a goal setting group. So I put my coach's hat in. Like there's different hats even in the community, depending on the community too, for sure. Mr. Levy, we're gonna have to keep it short just so we can wrap up on time. Let me put that caveat out there.
You've got the right person to keep it short. Of course not. But yeah, so Lesetja said pretty much, so I will keep it short because I couldn't agree with him more. I love the way that Hendrick spoke out and said he challenges a viewpoint or perspective, and he has a perspective which I listen to, and I listen to with interest. I think just taking out of what Hendrick said is, and I made some notes and you reminded me, I think every day we're networking every day wherever we are. We're selling every day wherever we are. We're selling ourselves. I think it's just about, but I am going to share something that I believe is, I think we must learn, we got to differentiate between selling ourselves, where we're telling people why we do things and how we do them, and then just, as Lesetja said, direct selling. It's something I don't enjoy. I haven't met many people that are too favorable or answer call centers too favorably. I would hate to work in a call center. I take my hat off to those people because they are hard selling. So I think the selling part is, yes, it's always there. I think, is it hard selling? How are we selling? So I agree with you. You're selling yourself every day. If you're going to come to me and say to me, this is Teresano business, I'm an earth mover, do you want to, can I contract to you? It's probably not going to happen with me. I want to get to know the person behind Teresano, and that's Hendrick, who I have had the pleasure of meeting and would do business with. But it was through that, it's building that trust and that. So you were kind of, if I can say for me, you were selling, but you weren't hard selling to me. You were selling yourself, but in that coffee first, business later environment for me. And then just the last thing I think it's that I wanted to touch on, it's like if you go into a networking group, unless it's primarily to a selling networking group, the outcome of the group is probably to grow your business, or the outcome will be money if you network correctly inside that group. And I think it's the same in business. If your purpose in business is purely to make money, you're probably going to struggle to make money. If your purpose in business is to make a difference and meet the needs of people out there, the outcome will be money. So are we in business to make money? Yes. Otherwise, why go into business? And we need it. But I think one has to be careful what the focus is. If the focus and the purpose is money, it probably will. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. There are people in business that sole purpose is to make money, and they're probably doing extremely well. And there is amongst 8 million people on the planet that will align to that. So I don't think there's any right or wrong, but thank you for triggering some thought from a different perspective. I really appreciate it. And by the way, the saying is nobody likes to be sold to, but everybody wants to buy.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lee. Peter, so why don't you wrap up the topic, and then I'll do my close, and then you do the close. How about that? So
that sounds perfect. I'm going to actually debunk it even a little further. Do we need to belong to a network to experience the benefit of a network? No, we do not. The reality is that our suppliers, our staff, our when you build out a space as a business owner, you have your accountant, you have your web developer, you have your graphic designer, you have all these are people that facilitate different aspects of your business. There's your network. These are the people you need to build relationships with. What does a networking group do? Well, a networking group is a space full of people exactly like that. Graphic designers, web developers, coaches, earth movers and shakers, medical research, business development agents, you name it. It's a space full of the people that you need to network with in order to build relationships. But you already have people around you. So can you benefit without belonging to a network? Yes, you just apply the principles of how you build relationships with those people, and you're building that network around you. What a networking group does is it facilitates making that just so much easier. So either you are well developed as a business and you have all those relationships already, and there is your network, But then you have those startup entrepreneurs and those startup business professionals that you say, hey, we need to do a marketing campaign, and they don't even know who the marketer is. They don't have access to a marketer, or they don't have access to a graphic designer or a web developer or a content creator or a writer or an attorney, or they don't have access to those relationships. And what better space to network than the space that has all of those people in a trusted space where people are building real relationships? So the whole point of a networking space is to facilitate making the growth of your space so much easier. And then you would join different spaces for different purposes. But do not lose sight of the fact that the people around you, aside from joining or belonging to a network, the people around you, don't build out a space and then go, oh, I don't have a network. Yes, you do. You just need to build relationships with those people. So don't lose sight of the people around you. They are very important. They can be the make or break of your business. They can be the support that your business needs. But joining a network is to facilitate making that just so much easier because it's right at your fingertips. So I thought I'd just put that out there. I think networking groups of people are for people that don't yet have access to the things that they need. If you already have all the things that you need, what would your purpose be for joining a network group? Maybe to market. But then you would strategically have to decide which group are you going to join to market your product. So take care of the people around you and they'll take care of you.
I love that. I love that, Peter. At first I was like, huh? Everybody's like, what the heck is your face? I'm like, oh, and then he explained it. And I was like, okay, I understand. Of course, speaking of the amazing people around us, we want to give a big shout out to Miss Susan, who does the covers. She does the show notes. She turns it into a podcast on Spotify. So please make sure you're following us on Spotify. If you listen to, I think it's like 2 or 3 shows, you could even do it on fast speed if you want to. You can give us a rating over there, and of course, share and like our show. Make sure you're subscribed so that you can get notifications that the show is going live, even if I'm a tad late or a tad early. We're never early. A few minutes late. So definitely for sure. And then we want to do a shout out to Somerville, who helps do everything else, basically. This is the part I do. She gets to do all the behind the scenes. And we're grateful for that for sure. For sure. My name is Sondra, and I am the owner of Get It Done Coaching, and I help you with goal accountability and goal and performance. My next workshop is December 10th. The exact same time as the show. My time is 12 p.m. Eastern. And I have a new name. So introducing the Life and Business Hacking Performance Workshop. That's a mouthful, and we're going to have to work on spinning that out. The concept is the same. It's still a quarterly review, but we are going to help give you tips and tricks on to get more done, to get it done. Obviously, that is definitely the proposal. And then, Mr. Peter, do you want to take us out, please?
Awesome. I think, first of all, let me just say it's such a privilege to be surrounded by such incredible people, and that without the people in the space doesn't exist. Literally. Because without the people, I'd be too lazy to do it all by myself. So nothing would ever happen. So, and I think we'll draw it to a close with the saying that we usually use, which is actually from Nastine Botto, which is, may all your wildest entrepreneurs